Hi guys, welcome to or welcome back to Journey Teachers. So today we have Geeta ma'am with us, who is a professor at Trice University in Media Department, and she's going to share her tips from her experiences of assessing students to how to apply to Trice University and what does she look for in a student while the application process. So we are very glad to have you here, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kriti.
Yeah, so let's begin with the very first question. As I said that you take interviews of students for the media department. So what do you exactly look for in a student?
First thing, we check their academic and background, that how much they have scored. Why? Because we receive lot many application and we need to put certain bar. So after that thing, we see the marks bar which is being set by the admission department, and then we actually have this interview round in which we have certain parameters. Depending on the course in which you are applying, we ask you questions accordingly.
Okay, so it depends a lot on the application and the course which you are applying for. So that is the major key focus which the interviewer takes in mind while asking you the questions. Okay, so to what extent do the marks card and the scores of the entrance test and the extracurriculars also matter?
Yeah, actually marks card is something not, I would say, the absolute thing which we look into, but we certainly look into that. If you have been able to score above 70%, 80%, so your chances of getting into the interview round are more. And apart from that, extracurricular activities, we certainly motivate students, because our university motivates extracurricular activities even if you get admission. So we actually give weightage to both the things. And then the kind of program you are applying. For example, I can make it more clear. If you are applying for this JPNG course, journalism, psychology and English, so we actually expect from the student to have certain level of awareness about the current happenings. If you are reading newspaper, you are updated about the news, or especially why I am saying news, because this is a course, journalism, English and psychology. So journalism is something we look into, and because we cannot expect much from the students at this stage, so at least what we see is something they are able to tell us what is happening around them, how much they are aware about current happenings.
Definitely, current affairs, especially in the course example which you gave, matters the most. And since Trice University is very famous for its diverse culture and all the extracurricular activities happening in the university as well, they do look at the student from that holistic perspective. Right. Okay. So what are some of the most common questions that you ask during the interview?
Okay, yeah, see, if a student has applied for say JPNG program, so I will certainly ask for current happenings, and even students will say that I am not interested in politics, but I am telling you this is the base. If you are not aware about your country's the political happenings, I think that's something you need to think of. Political, economic, or at least there should be some direction. Even if some students say, okay, I am interested in sports, then I start asking questions from the sports event. And if the students say I am interested in movies, I start asking questions from the movies. And we have another program, CEP, Communication, English and Psychology. So if the student is applying in that, because communication and media is a wider course than journalism, so I always ask them what kind of readings they do, like in terms of books. Now even in books, like what kind of genre they are following. So I'll have follow-up questions into that line only. If the student says, okay, I read this particular author, then I'll go deep into that, okay, just to ensure that okay, student is not lying and student is really studying, because reading is something a base for especially the program like CEP. And for journalism, I would say news, current happenings, these are something basic thing which I look into.
Definitely, that is a very huge secret which everybody should know, because major faculty here and anywhere you go as well, they would ask questions and counter questions from you, what you are answering in the previous question. So just take care that you do not lie, just take care that you answer very accurately whatever what you resonate with, so that you are able to answer perfectly in the next counter question as well. Okay. So, do you open the application side by side as well while taking the interview? And what do you exactly look in for that?
Yeah, definitely. I open application side by side, and for especially for the PG program, master's program, we ask student to submit portfolio. So apart from the questions, the basic questions are something like what kind of understanding student has, about the course. Apart from that, I certainly look into their portfolio, and I'm telling you, few of the students I have interviewed, they have prepared very beautiful portfolios. So it's make their chances more, obviously. So that way, yes, I do look into the application, and we also call for SOP. So I do read that, because if a student is not able to explain their skills in their SOP, I think then there is a requirement of something to upgrade in them. So yeah.
Definitely, each and every aspect what is asked for in an application is looked for very accurately and in detail by the interviewer in order to ask counter questions from them, and in order to analyze what are the skill sets of the particular student and what unique are you bringing to the table. Okay, so to what extent do you expect the student to know about the university and the course they are applying for? Should it be in very detail, or just the overview will work?
I think initially the overview will work, because I understand some of the students are coming from different backgrounds. They may not have access to everything, but what we expect, or especially if you talk about me, what I expect is at least they should gone through the course structure, so that suddenly they should not feel like, okay, what is happening with me, why so many courses and these kind of things. So it will help them mentally prepare for the classes, and this is a part of the basic awareness also, that whatever course I am applying to, what are the what is the structure, and what subjects I am going to study during my 3-year degree. So yes, this is something I expect at least they should go through the course program structure. Yeah.
Right, they should be aware about the course plan and majorly the primary topics that are going to be covered inside the course, because if you come blank in an interview without knowing about the university, without knowing about the course you are applying for, this will certainly not work.
And our university has updated this, we keep on updating it. It's not like you have to search a lot about it. If you go to the website, it's very easy user interface, and if you just enter into the course in which you are interested, you will find the curriculum. So it's not a difficult job to do.
Definitely. Okay. So, to what extent are the technical questions associated with whatever course they are applying for? Do you ask technical questions related to psychology or maybe anything?
Yes, because this is a triple major program, so we look for basic understanding. Broadly, we look for journalism, communication and media, but we also look into, because sometimes what happens, students after taking admission, they find courses like literature and psychology difficult than the journalism courses, so they start complaining. So while interviewing, we also look into this, even if they haven't studied it formally as part of their because the students are coming from the science background, different backgrounds. So even if they haven't studied the course as part of their previous class, but what I expect is something, at least some sort of information they should have. Why? Because they are applying for a triple major program, and I expect them to at least have knowledge. Okay, these are the courses which I am going to study. So yes, I do ask some. I would not say very detailed one, but basic information I really ask.
Definitely, if a student is applying for a combination of courses, she should be aware about all of them rather than just selecting a particular major. So that is the difference between triple majors and actually pursuing one major and one specialization. Okay, so how long should the answer to one question be, and how many questions in total do you often ask?
Like I spend almost 10 to 15 minutes on one student, and if there are two faculties in the group, so it goes beyond that also sometimes. So how long the answer should be, it depends on the question, but it should not be one liner, because if you are speaking one line and then you are silent, it means it shows there's some lack of confidence, a lack of clarity or lack of information, so it may not give a good message to the interviewer. So that way you should prepare your answers in a way, and it should not go too long also, because then you may end up losing other important questions. So while interviewing we may feel like, okay, we didn't get the space to ask question, so you have to make it balanced one. So if you answer it within 2-3 lines, 4 lines, I think that would be enough. And in some of the cases I am telling you, few of the students are not they say it honestly that my writing skills are not good, or I'm not interested into the writing part. So we ask them then some technical question, because generally those kind of students are interested in, say, camera handling, production part. So I start asking question in that direction, so at least that will make sense. And in some cases when students are not able to answer the formal questions, like questions coming from the subject especially, so what I do, I give them some topic for debate and discussion. So at least that will give me some idea about the student. Okay, maybe during the interview student was not able to recall about the particular definition or particular meaning, but otherwise the student has some information what is happening around him. So I give them space to talk, debate whether that skill is there or not. If they have that skill, it means they are inquisitive, it means they are into this idea of reading. So I think that works for me. I look for that aspect as well.
Basically, their understanding is actually assessed rather than asking, in detailed questions. So whatever you are, whatever your true self is, just let it open to the interviewer, and they will definitely understand your unique attributes and give you space accordingly. Okay. So what are your tips for the micro presentation, which is included in the interview as well?
Yeah, in micro presentation we give them 2 to 3 minutes to present. So I advise student to you should condense your information. Okay, what is more important I need to tell to the interviewer. Maybe you have some achievements, maybe you have done some maybe internship or some work that you can tell it to the interviewer, rather than just giving summary about yourself, your name and all such kind of information. We do ask that, but we ask you which place you belong to, so you need not to get into more details. You can keep it short and crisp, and then you should talk about your skills and how you can be how this university can help you in grooming your already acquired skills. So that way you can prepare your this micro presentation.
Right, definitely. So as the topic is also given on the spot, you have to be very quick and certain about what important points you have to cover in that, and accordingly you will have to follow the time limit as well. So you can give a practice beforehand so as to be certain amount of to have certain confidence in you. Okay, so what are the things that you want the students to not do, whether it may be using flowery language in order to impress you, or maybe keep on saying lies, or what are some of the dressing sense or any ethics to be followed?
See, I mean, after pandemic we have started taking it online, and it is convenient for many of the students. So looking into the larger perspective, many of the students belong to the extreme areas, northeast, and we thought of having this online interview so that more and more students can appear in the interview. So when they appear in the interview, they should not think like that they are sitting in their home comfortably, so they can sit on their bed or somewhere sofa or something. If you are appearing in interview, you should still follow all the norms which are required for appearing interview offline. So you should dress up properly, formally, not in your casual dress and talking casually to the interviewer. So we expect from you that formal dress and formal language, and do not exaggerate about the things. And yes, language is important part. We look for the communication skills, but that is not the only thing. right? You may communicate well, but you should have information, to communicate something. So that is something you have to make a balance between that. It should not be the only language, or it should not be the only information, and sometimes you have information but you are not able to communicate. So I think students can prepare well. There are so many videos or books which can actually help you in that way, but my tip would be you should practice more before coming to the camera. And everyone is, I'm telling you, after this pandemic, coming on camera has become a normal course. Earlier, I mean, if you ask me, I'm also camera conscious, but in pandemic you can't help it, right? You have to be on camera. So what you can do at home, you can practice how to speak before camera. Use your mirror, stand there, just look into your hand movements, your body movement, because all that will be captured on camera. And we are not seeing you personally, we are seeing you on screen. So how will you look on screen? Like how and these are some basic thing, your head should not be cut. Sometimes they are not able to place their camera on the right angle. This is a very basic thing. Now the kids understand how to place camera. So that is something going to add into your first impression. Just remember this thing, you are coming for the first time, so what impression you want to give it to us. So accordingly you can prepare yourself. And one good point you pointed out, yes, do not lie. Because there are teachers who are, okay, I may be new to the the environment, but I'm telling you, we have very experienced faculty. I'm new to the Christ, but it's not like I'm new to teaching. I'm also coming from an experience, and we have experienced faculty here. So we'll catch you if you are lying. Right? It's not a difficult job. We are talking to so many students every day. So whatever I think you should be honest about that. If you don't know, just simply you can say, sorry, I'm not aware of this, or maybe I'm not able to recall this. So you can, these are all few things which will help you, rather than lying or adding into adding something which is you are not aware of, right? So I think that will not help. So, and that is part of our basic manner also, and moral and ethics and principles, whatever we say it, that be honest and be truthful, right? So if you don't know, please you can simply say, sorry, I am not aware of this thing, or I forgot about this thing. That will work better, rather than trying to impress with your lies and everything, because teacher will catch you. Teacher is a teacher. I'm not trying to be an authority or powerful, but I'm telling you from the experience.
Definitely. And faculty and teachers, they have more experience than our age as well. So they will catch us rather in one point or the other, because we'll not be able to prove that point whatever we have made before any internships or any volunteer work or anything for that matter. So these were some wonderful tips for sure, which will really be helpful. So lastly, what would be your overall advice for the students watching this in order to crack Christ University?
I would advise you to prepare well in advance, rather than waiting for the admission time. Now February is going, right? So you should start preparing from now only, because our admission process will start soon, within 1 month or 2 months. So you should be aware, and most of the students answer that, okay, due to my board exams I couldn't read news. So what I say, okay, tell me 6 months old news. So that way you should prepare your background very well. And if you don't have any internship or something to say, you must have done something for the society, for your neighborhood, for your family. That way you can come up with all those ideas. And last thing I would say, start preparing from now. Start reading about things happening around you. Be informed, rather than saying, okay, I don't know, I don't read newspaper. Read anything. You come up with the reading, we'll give you the chance to speak about that.
Yeah, definitely. Opportunities are, no less here, and you just have to have the will to explore and just keep going, whatever, you like according to your interest areas. So thank you so much, Geeta ma'am, for coming here and sharing your insights on this topic, because it was really helpful for the students watching. I'm sure that they will get to learn a lot about, what things to take care while appearing for an interview and what kind of questions get asked as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kriti. I hope I have been able to answer. But if there are further queries, you can take them and we can always answer that. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.